Greetings, Princeps and Moderati. Welcome to my small lecture on Warlord class Battle Titans. I want to talk about some technical data, the command terminal, the Warlord class Titans armament, their battlefield role, and some personal opinions on this god engine. While you're listening, you can grab a glass of Amasac and rest your feet from a day full of work. You can polish your god engine's armor panels, or you can rework the internal cables. So just let us start. The Warlord class Titan is a large and powerful type of battle titan, armed with much more firepower than its counterpart, the smaller Reaver class Titan. The Warlord appears to be the most common class of Battle Titan in use by the Imperium of Man, and many Adeptus Mechanicus Forge worlds field their own patterns of this class. Due to their immense size, standing nearly 33 meters tall, Warlord Titans are not nearly as fast or agile as their Reaver class Titans or Warhound Scout Titans. But they more than make up for this failing with their sheer firepower and heavy armored bulks. A Warlord Titan is piloted by 1 Princeps, 4 Moderati, and 2 Tech Priests. It stands about 33 meters or roughly 108 feet tall on the battlefield, but more data are unknown due to this kinda techno-mysticism that's surrounding the Adeptus Mechanicus. In the game of Adeptus Titanicus, the Warlord Titan comes in at scale 10 with 385 points base costs. He got a command value of 3 up, ballistic skill of 3 up, a weapon skill of 5 up, a speed of 4 and boosted 6 inches, 1 or boosted 2 maneuvers, and 4 servitors on board. He got a plasma reactor of 7 holes and a void shield of 6 holes. A Warlord Battle Titan got also his Ardex defense system that states if he is activated in the combat phase, he would attack enemies in the front and rear arc in a range of 6 inches with D3 attacks of strength 5. The weapons that can be fielded are the Bellicosa Volcano Cannon, the Macro Gatling Blaster, Sun Fury Plasma Annihilator, the Mori Quake Cannon, the Ariok Titan Power Claw, paired Turbo Laser Destructors, paired Gatling Blasters, paired Laser Blasters, a Vulcan Mega Bolter Array, and the Apocalypse Missile Launcher. In the game there is missing the Secheran Las Cutter on the arm, then the Plasma Blast Gun, the Melter Cannons, the Vortex Missile Banks, and the Incinerator Missile Banks on the Carapace mount. Those only exist in the lore and not for gaming reasons. So let us talk about the available weapons in the game, excluding the upcoming Volkite arm weapon. The Bellicosa Volcano Cannon comes in at 55 points with a maximum range of 60 inches, 1 die, strength 12, the Blast 5-inch template, and the Draining trait in the front arc. The Bellicosa Volcano Cannon is one of the most dangerous weapons in the whole game due to the high strength and the blast template. The template can produce double hits on enemy titans or can hit many knights if you shoot it on a banner, and due to the high strength there are not even iron shields to save the enemy from the incoming damage. The Bellicosa is in return very dangerous for your Warlord due to the low speed and the low maneuvers, you maybe often push the reactor, and when you shoot a weapon that also needs to push the reactor, the Warlord can overheat really fast if you field two of these weapons on one chassis. In my opinion, the Bellicosa Volcano Cannon is a bit overpriced with 55 points. I think it's more of a 45 or 50 point weapon due to the heat drawback, but it's okay, because I am a guy that only fields one of those weapons on a chassis max. The next weapon is a Macro Gatling Blaster with 30 points and a maximum range of 24. On the short range, up to 8 inches, it got a +1 to hit modifier, 6 dice, strength 7, and the ordnance trait in the front arc. The Macro Gatling Blaster is a very reliable weapon in comparison of the reverse Gatling Blaster. On a Warlord, the choice for this weapon depends if you want to field him in a CQC or mid-range variant due to the 24-inch max range, which is very low compared to the high-value weapons like the Bellicosa. But if you want to go up close, 6 dice with a strength of 7 and the ability to reroll once on the armor penetration roll, I think it's a good weapon with a reasonable price. The Sun Fury Plasma Annihilator, the most hilarious name for even a death metal band, comes in with 45 points, a max range of 24, 4 dice, strength 8 and the maximal fire trait in the front arc. The Sun Fury Plasma Annihilator is a good weapon for mid to short range warlords due to the strength that can be pushed to 10 and the possibility to get targeted attacks, which not many weapons of a warlord can achieve. I think the Sun Fury Plasma Annihilator is best fielded in conjunction with a Macro Gatling Blaster or even with the Ariok Titan Power Claw. The Mori Quake Cannon comes in at 20 points, maximum range 72 and the short range of 24, which is nerfed with a -1 to hit. 1 dice, strength 9, blast 5-inch template, concussive and quake in the front arc. This weapon is a harassment weapon on a budget. The 5-inch blast template is good if you shoot this weapon at knights or titan squadrons like warhounds, and the most benefit you can get out of these weapons is that you can auto-shake Imperial Knights, push them around d6 inches and reduce their speed, and on enemy titans that you reduce their speed and their maneuvers and push them around. So this is a weapon wholly for harassment, but you can get some luck shots due to the strength 9 template shot. So I think the Mori Quake Cannon is one of those weapons that is often overlooked due to these, oh, it's a harassment weapon, but it can really hit hard if placed well. Next up, the Oddball. There are many controversies about Titans in melee, but I think a Warlord Titan deserves one of those powerful weapons, like this one, the Ariok Titan Power Claw. It comes in on 25 points, with a range of 2 inches, and on this range it's got a +2 to hit modifier, 3 dice, strength 12, the concussive and the melee trait. If a pesty Imperial Knight or a daring Warhound come close to you, just charge him and get him a surprise with this big fist. I think The Ariok Titan Power Claw is best in combination with a Macro Gatling Blaster or a Sun Fury Plasma Annihilator if you want to go up close and nasty or surprise your enemy. That doesn't count for a charging Warlord Battle Titan. If you combine this with some Legio or Maniple traits, or even the Allegiance traits of the Traitor, you can get much benefit out of this claw in a decisive moment in the game. Next up, there are the Carapace weapons. The paired Turbo Laser Destructor with 35 points is the weapon that you know from the Warhound's arms. A maximum range of 32, 4 dice, strength 8 with the Carapace, paired and Shield Bane draining trait, and it fires in the Corridor arc. The paired Turbo Laser Destructor is a solid strength 8 weapon, jack of all trades like all laser weapons. You get a high strength for targeted attacks, but you can benefit from Shield Bane if you need to reduce the enemy's Void Shield or Iron Shield saves. The downside, like all of the Warlord's Carapace weapons, is the minimum range of 10. If an enemy is closer, these weapons are useless. But in battle situations, you can find yourself often in the opportunity to get a split fire order, fire the Carapace weapon on an enemy far away, and all your arm-mounted weapons on an enemy that's closer to you. The paired Turbo Laser Destructor is followed by the paired Laser Blaster. This weapon you may recognize from the Reaver's arms. It comes in at 50 points with a maximum range of 32, and on a range from 16 to 32 it's got a -1 to hit modifier, 6 dice and a strength of 8 with the Carapace, paired and Shield Bane draining trait in the Corridor arc. The paired Laser Blaster is the weapon of choice if you like the Turbo Laser Destructor but want to get 2 dice more to the pool. But I think these plus 15 points in comparison are a bit hefty due to the -1 hit modifier on the long range. If I can decide, I would go for the paired Turbo Laser Destructor rather than the Laser Blaster that comes on the plastic kit, but nevertheless it's a good weapon if you want to get some targeted attacks on a range in between 10 and 16 inches, or you got any war gear for your Legio that reduces to hit penalties like Legio Furian's hunting auspex. The next weapon is the paired Gatling Blaster, a weapon you know from the Reaver 2. 30 points with a range of 24, on the short range up to 8 inches. It got a +1 to hit modifier. 12 dice, strength 5, and the traits are Carapace, Ordnance and paired. I don't know what to think about the paired Gatling Blaster. It is good if you go against enemy Warlords or even the greater War Master Titans, because the only way you can benefit from the +1 to hit modifier is on your scale or higher scale models. So I don't think it's a very good weapon. It's stylish kinda in a way, and if you want to go Gatling Blaster or a mid-range Titan, it is okay to field those weapons. The Vulcan Mega Bolter Array is 20 points, max range on 20, on a short range to 10 inches it's a +1 modifier, it got 12 dice, it got a strength of 4, it got Carapace, paired and rapid in the Corridor arc. I don't know if it's worth to field this weapon when you don't want to go for stylish reasons, cause it's like the paired Gatling Blaster, but the problem is that there are 1 point of strength less and 4 inches of range less. I am very skeptical if you need to field this weapon. If you got battlefield situation where you benefit from the bonies of this weapon, just let me know in the comments below. The last weapon is the Apocalypse missile launcher with a range up to 120 inches. In the long range from 30 to 120 inches. It's a +1 modifier, 10 dice, strength 4 with 15 points with the barrage carapace and paired trait in the corridor arc. A good weapon to strip enemy titans from their void shields due to the 10 shots and the long range to strip shields even in the early game. In my opinion, the Apocalypse missile launcher is the go-to weapon on each Warlord Titan due to the low point cost to keep the Warlord points overall low, maybe to benefit from a war gear option that you can't field in conjunction with another weapon due to the point cost. If you got any war gear like Legio Furian's hunting auspex, even the barrage thingy is not that hard of a problem, cause you reduce the -2 to hit when you don't see your enemy only to a -1, and 10 shots on a 5 up or with this hunting auspex 4 up is very devastating in the early game. So these are all the weapons, and you can tell us which one is your favorite weapon of a Warlord Battle Titan, and I want to talk about the battlefield roles that I think dictate the combination of weapons. I go with the lore and divide into the Eclipse, the Deathbringer and the Night Gaunt variant. The Eclipse Warlord is your Warlord on a budget type if you need to fill out the mandatory choices for your chosen mana pool but want to keep room for the point values for better weaponry for the other Titans. You can field one of those and he can be equipped with 2 more Quake cannons or a combination between Macro Gatling Blaster and Mori Quake Cannon, and in all choices the missile launchers on the carapace due to the low costs. So this Eclipse can be fielded far away from the enemy for the usage of Apocalypse missile launcher and Mori Quake Cannon to harass, and if the enemy comes up close, there is the Macro Gatling Blaster to get some good shots off. I am a bit ambivalent if you want to field a low-budget Warlord Titan, but if you in your gaming group has decided to play very low point value games as we do in between 1250 and 1850 points, it's a pleasure to field a Warlord on this point value and got the opportunity to field even more Titans rather than a big, heavy, costly Warlord and need to make compromises with the other mandatory choices or support Titans. The next class is the Deathbringer, the Warlord Battle Titan you all know and love, your multi-use Warlord Titan. This one is the most likely to be seen on the battlefield due to the plastic kit's availability. The multi-use Deathbringer is more of an artillery platform in between 475 and 510 points and can be fielded with a Bellicosa and a Mori Quake Cannon, double Bellicosa cannons and the Apocalypse missile launchers on top. If you like more of a different flavor, just switch out the carapace weaponry to your liking, or maybe you want to choose the Mori Quake Cannon on an arm and switch it out with something more of a mid-range weapon like a Sun Fury Plasma Annihilator or a Macro Gatling Blaster if the enemy comes up too close. Then, last but not least, my favorite class, the Night Gaunt. The Night Gaunt is the warlord that screams, "Hello, here is a brick to your face." It's the one that wants to go up close and deal with the enemy on shorter ranges. And I think a mandatory arm component for this class is the Ariok Titanclaw. This one can be combined with the Macro Gatling Blaster or the Sun Fury Plasma Annihilator, and on the carapace you can use the missile launchers for low budget. You can go with a paired turbo laser destructor for some kind of a heavy hitting targeted attack capacity, or you can go with a Vulcan Mega Bolter array if you like, cause this Titan always goes up close and screams in the enemy's face. If you go with a house rule like we do here, you can even upgrade the Ariok Titanclaw with plus 10 points to contain an additional Vulcan Mega Bolter there, cause the model got one on the claw, and you can decide if you want to punch with the claw or shoot with the Vulcan Mega Bolter. But this is only a small house rule we use sometimes, so keep this in mind. If you want to field a Night Gaunt, it's very critical which stratagems, Legio, Manipul and Allegiance you pick. I think it's very good to pick a Legio that's very fast, like maybe Legio Astorum, the Warp Runners, to double push your Titans in the first and second battle round to make some ground. Or you keep in mind that there are components in the game like Unbridled Hatred from the Traitor Allegiance or the stratagem Warlust to push your machine even more and let him punch even harder. So, overall opinion on the Warlord Battle Titan. I am not a fan of the Warlord Battle Titan, to be honest. I like to field smaller chassis over one of these big Titans. But when I got the opportunity to field one, I like the Night Gaunt the most due to this shit and giggles attitude I wanna bring to the table. If these Titans come up close to an enemy that's not aware and he vaporizes an enemy's Titan head with one swoop of his claw, it's very hilarious. If I wanna go more conservative, I go kinda to the Deathbringer variant with a Bellicosa and a Mori Quake Cannon for some conservative gaming issues. I can harass the enemy with the Mori Quake Cannon, I can dish out some heavy damage with the Bellicosa and strip Void Shields with the Apocalypse Missile Launcher. This Titan mostly stays in one corner of the battlefield and dishes out split fire order after split fire order. It is very uneventful to play this loadout, but sometimes it's needed for enemies that field many big machines. So, what do you think is the favorite battlefield role for a Warlord Battle Titan, and what are your favorite weapon combination? Just write it down in the comments and let us know. A like, a comment is very appreciated, and if you want to support us from Team Titanicorn further in producing Adeptus Titanicus content like this, like tutorials or battle reports, just visit Patreon/Titanicorn, visit the link in the video description to keep in touch with us there. Nothing more to say about the Warlord Battle Titan. It was a pleasure to be here for you, and I appreciate that you listened through to the end. Till next time, I am Dizzyfinger from Team Titanicorn. Keep on wargaming and class dismissed.